Welcome to Coronavirus, The Rundown. I'm Usher Qureshi. Stores across the country are struggling right now. Alicia Nieves found out how coronavirus is expected to change what the landscape of retail looks like.
Retail is in the red across America. The apparel chain J.Crew has become one of the first major retailers to file for bankruptcy since the coronavirus pandemic forced a wave of store closures across the country.
You had this phenomenon where you had this overbuilt retail and then combine that with the pressures from e-commerce. And it was already a really volatile sector. And then just throw COVID-19 into it. And, you know, it's likely that this is going to be the thing that kills off an awful lot of this retail.
Rick Stein is with the Urban Decision Group in Ohio. His company conducted a commercial analysis during COVID-19 to quantify the impact the closures have had on retail.
None of these businesses have had plans for a zero revenue situation. We're estimating as many as 40% of existing small store clothing retailers, apparel, could close.
UDG's research shows so many small apparel retailers are planning to close their stores for good because in addition to zero or near zero revenue, they are struggling with unknowns surrounding reopening, questioning how many customers will be able to enter their stores at one time, and will customers even be able to try on clothes?
You put all those things together, it could spell the death knell for a lot of retail.
Across the industry, around 15,000 stores are expected to close this year, which is at least 50% higher than last year's record high. However, most retailers, especially big-name chains, won't completely cease to exist. They'll likely file for bankruptcy under Chapter 11 and restructure.
The big push years ago was to be in every mall, to have every, locations everywhere. I think the exact opposite will be now.
Chapter 11 will allow most retailers to reorganize the business with less brick-and-mortar stores and more of an online presence. J.Crew filed for bankruptcy under Chapter 11, but while most retailers on the brink are expected to do the same, they aren't expected to file suit until more states reopen.
Normally, you liquidate your inventory in some stores to provide liquidity for the other stores to continue. That can't work right now because there's just no opportunity to do that. You can't really do a going out of business sale online. At least no one's really tried it the same way. So I think that's also partially holding back.
Most analysts agree that mass closures of retail brick-and-mortar stores were going to happen, but spread out over the next 5 to 10 years. COVID-19 has mostly sped things up significantly. I'm Alicia Nieves reporting.
More stores are limiting how much meat customers can buy at one time. Costco just started a 3-item per member limit on fresh beef, pork, and poultry. It said the limits are a response to shoppers' habits. Sam's Club and Kroger recently enacted a similar policy for their stores. Having trouble finding flour? Stores are out of it, even when you try to order online. King Arthur Flour says a major reason is that people are baking more. Monthly bakers are baking weekly now, and weekly bakers are in the kitchen daily. King Arthur says there's no shortage of wheat, just a healthy appetite for all types of flour. It expects this trend to be here for the foreseeable future. Firefighters are responding to more kitchen fires right now. As Kai Beach found out, they're now stressing safety.
911, what is your emergency?
Basically, that is an airborne fuel that the grease will just ignite and you'll have a worse fire.
Coronavirus concerns have sparked an increase in fire danger.
We've probably seen over the last week perhaps as much as a doubling of the number of kitchen fires.
Robert Rylage of Coleraine Fire in Ohio says stay-at-home orders have more people making more meals at home, and that could be a recipe for disaster.
Folks are starting something cooking and then leaving to do some other task. Leaving that unattended is causing primarily the kitchen fires.
Other fire departments across the country are reporting similar increases in kitchen fires.
Remember to check doors for heat before opening them.
According to the National Fire Protection Association, cooking is the leading cause of home fires and fire injuries, and they're becoming more prevalent during this pandemic.
with people being at home all the time now, which is very different from usual.
Wendy Gianni King of the Wilmington, North Carolina Fire Department is working to keep her community safe during the COVID crisis.
Turkey is frying.
That's why her team has turned to social media to inform the public on how to reduce the risk.
When it comes to having everybody at home all the time, the medicines and the matches and the cleaning products, hide them away. Get them out of the sight and out of the reach of children or bored teenagers even.
Fire experts say the best protection is prevention. It's also important to check smoke detectors and make an escape plan.
Every second counts.
Doing these things will protect your family.
Children can sleep through a smoke alarm even if it's right next to them.
And could also help stop the spread of the coronavirus.
If we don't have a reason to come out of our houses and respond to your house, that's less of a chance of contracting COVID. That's less of a chance of being exposed to COVID.
I'm Kai Beach reporting.
College students at more than 25 universities are now suing to get partial refunds on tuition and other fees. This after many universities have taken classes online. Students suing say the quality of online classes is below the in-person experience, and they should pay lower rates. Colleges insist the quality is the same because the same professors are teaching their classes, and students are still getting the normal amount of credits. While people are doing what they can to get on track towards some sense of normalcy, our partners at Newsy asked a veterans group about its path forward.
I'm Gordon Sumner. I'm the president and CEO of a nonprofit called Veterans Moving Forward. And our mission is to provide service and emotional support dogs to veterans that are dealing with mental and or physical challenges. And hopefully in anticipation, once this is lifted, we'll be able to get back to bringing our veterans in and matching them up with a dog later on this year. So that hasn't stopped. We still have dogs that we have to take care of. So that part hasn't changed. What has changed is the impact of the coronavirus on our ability to raise revenue. Since February, we have had close to 30 to 40 events that have been canceled. With all that coming to a screeching halt, we've had to refocus how we can do our fundraising, a lot more social media, but in direct mail campaign, things like that. But it has really impacted where we just don't have that visibility. We're Americans. This is not our first trial that we've had in the 240 plus year history of our country. We will get through this. And we'll come out on the other side, I believe, stronger than ever. And how we're going to do that is through an emotional bond and a belief in what we do as Americans, where we believe in each other and where we work together as a team. And that's what we're doing here at Veterans Moving Forward. We need to dig deep, and we need to believe in our American values, and we need to come out of this together as a country, focused on that path forward, just like what we're doing with our veterans, so that as Veterans Moving Forward, we're going to help our veterans as soon as we can get back to normal to help them move forward with their lives, with themselves and their families.
Storytime could be crucial for kids right now.
Children's books provide healing even more than a lot of the things that we tend to think actually heal ourselves in the process.
The way some say these books can be helpful for both kids and adults. And a pair of greeting card designers are bringing their art to life in a unique way. How some life-size cards are paying tribute to those on the front lines.
Or was we even there?
Our neighborhoods are full of inspirational messages right now, but for two artists who usually design greeting cards, their creations are deeply personal. Lindsay Boat shows us what they hope we can all take away from the greeting cards they've brought to life in a slightly different way.
As artists, we were kind of like, what can we do right now to really inspire people and bring our creativity to life? So we all started talking about these driveway cards.
You'll usually see Amber Goodvin's artwork on a Hallmark greeting card. Now, it has come to life in her Kansas City area neighborhood.
It says, caring heart, capable hands, incredible courage. I think everybody right now knows somebody in their life who is kind of being a hero right now and having to find that courage just to go to work every day.
Hallmark artist Chris Russell's message on his sidewalk card: not all heroes wear capes. His family is proof of that.
She's always been a superhero to our family, and
she would never ask for any credit or want any, extra pats on the back.
His wife is a nurse, not asking for any recognition, but honored by the love she and so many other frontline workers have been getting from across the country.
She's been kind of blown away at just how fun and encouraging people have been and supportive to not just her, but to, ER doctors, postal workers. It doesn't just start and stop at the hospital.
I'm just moved by their stories of the courage that they're having to muster to go to work and then go home and see their families.
Amber's niece is a nurse too, along with some of her friends. She hopes her art lets them know what they're doing really matters.
My hope would be that if anybody sees my piece, that they would just feel encouraged by it, and then maybe they would take that encouragement and pass it on to someone else and reach out to someone in their life that needs that encouragement right now.
It was just a good way to share a message and to kind of remind that we're all in this together.
Support we all need right now, coming in the form of life-size cards. I'm Lindsay Boach reporting.
With everything going on right now, books could be a good way to communicate with your children. Empowered Publicity showcases children's book authors. Its president says he believes reading to kids during the pandemic opens relationships up for more conversation and understanding.
Taking the time to connect with your children and not talking above them, not talking under them, not talking over them, but talking directly to them. The power of communication right now is extremely important. If you're able to share something in a way that they can understand, there's not necessarily going to be as many fears or doubts or insecurities. And even if those do come up, parents are just able to have conversations with their little ones and let them know that everything is going to turn out okay.
He says children's books are an effective way to talk about ideas like death and grief.
I feel that the answer to many of life's problems are found in the form of a children's book. I share this because, children's books are reminding us to not take life way too seriously.
He says kids' books can remind us to live in the moment and to not be so hard on ourselves. Well, coronavirus sidelined religious observations like Easter and Passover. Now Muslims around the globe and here in the U.S. are observing the holy month of Ramadan. The faith normally urges its followers to pray in congregation and sometimes requires it. But present circumstances mean adjusting centuries of tradition.
Baba, do you like mine?
Yeah, that's perfect.
It's a busy time for millions of American Muslims like Sakina Saida, her husband Nasser Kodolensky, and their 3 children.
So this is, what's your name?
Aisha.
This is Aisha, this is Sophia, and this is Hussein.
It's the holy month of Ramadan, the 9th month in the Islamic calendar, when Muslims fast from sunrise to sunset, ending in the evening with an iftar, a dinner, breaking bread with friends and family.
It's really about community. It's about coming together, to do like congregational worship and to break fast together.
And then we'd all come together for nighttime prayers at the masjid, and it would be so nice to catch up.
But this year, stay-at-home orders mean a very different spiritual experience, one focused on worship and reflection in isolation.
We're very much isolated, whereas usually we're used to so much activity. I mean, the mosque typically for prayers would be completely full.
Normally at this time of year, mosques around the country and the world would look like this. But today the parking lots are deserted, the minarets dark. Even the Grand Mosque in Mecca, historically humming with energy this time of year, nearly empty.
Maybe this is one of the goods that we come to realize just how beautiful it is to be able to worship in public, because there's a lot of places around the world where that's not allowed.
Imam Hisham Al-Qaisi normally leads nightly vigils and prayers here at the Islamic Foundation, but these days he's alone in the prayer hall.
This quiet and this emptiness that you see here, it's an eerie feeling.
Instead, he connects with worshipers virtually online. But he says there is a lesson in this pandemic in what he calls a return to the faith's origins.
Before we were able to congregate in public, before Islam became an international phenomenon, we had to do Islam in our homes, and that's exactly what we're returning to now.
Allahumma. Back at the Kodolensky household, young Aisha is commemorating completing her first fast with a ceremonial date. And Mom Sakina says she's discovered the upside in the seclusion.
There's a silver lining in this, and that silver lining is that we are focusing on our spiritual, individual worship at home and being there as a family.
A silver lining, she says, in challenging times. Meals on Wheels is helping more people as some Americans struggle to afford food. The challenge the group is facing as it tries to get help to everyone who needs it.
To Keller and Keller.
Welcome back. A growing number of seniors count on Meals on Wheels for food. It's especially true right now as people stay home and out of stores. Chris Conti looks at why the program is facing financial uncertainty as the country tries to rebound.
Every morning in spaces like this across the country, there is an organized race against the clock as thousands of meals are loaded into cars, dispatched across cities, bound for senior citizens who need them. A need that right now is greater than ever.
Good morning.
Royce Peace is a driver for Meals on Wheels in Boston.
And the cold packs that go with the meal as well.
As a college sophomore who suddenly found himself back home, Royce decided to step up and help his community.
This is helping a lot more people than like just me sitting down playing video games all day.
On this day, the 20-year-old and a small army of drivers were spread out across the city.
Hi. Good morning.
Going door to door delivering meals to seniors who can't leave their homes right now for fear of catching COVID. Seniors like Antonia Jones.
Well, it means a lot. It does. I mean, I got somebody that I can talk to.
It's not just seniors who need meals right now. Before the epidemic, Meals on Wheels was delivering 8,000 meals a day to low-income families. Now they're delivering 12,000 meals each day as more families are out of work and can't afford groceries. When you see how many more people are needing food, what does that say to you about the situation?
That we're in for a long haul. I don't think that this is going to be over in a week.
Valerie Frias oversees Meals on Wheels in Boston. Across the country, the group is willing to help anyone who truly cannot afford to eat. But the offer comes with concern for Valerie. How to fund that?
We are doing the best we can with the dollars that we can, but we can only stretch them so thin.
Nationwide, the program mainly operates on donations. Funding is disappearing almost as fast as they can deliver meals. Are you worried that there are people out there who maybe aren't getting food?
Of course.
But as the country rebounds, programs like this will be more critical than ever.
We might be the only person they have contact with during the day, so just coming in and checking in on them, making sure that they're okay and not injured.
Managing the pressure of this epidemic is happening one meal at a time. In Boston, I'm Chris Conti reporting.
Well, one school officer is celebrating each graduating senior. He's visiting every student's home to say congrats. But that's not all. The extra step he's taking to show he cares.
Nation or volunteer today.
Welcome back. We like to end the rundown with stories about the good going on all around us. Today, it's Deputy Todd Hart from the Akron, Ohio area. He's taking it upon himself to celebrate this year's graduating class. He gives out high fives and handshakes just before the ceremony each year. But since everything is different this year, he's taking a different approach to let students know he's proud.
Hi, Jordan.
Hi.
Here to congratulate you on graduating.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best luck in your future.
Thank you.
What's up?
How's it going, Deputy Hart?
Nothing. Just here to congratulate you for graduating high school.
You going around to everybody?
Everyone.
All the seniors?
All the seniors.
That's awesome.
Harley, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm coming around to congratulate all you seniors.
Thank you.
Students say they're used to seeing Hart in the hallways every day, so the home visit means a lot. Deputy Hart plans to visit 317 kids by the end of May, leaving signs in each yard. Well, that's all the time we have today for Coronavirus The Rundown. We'll see you next time. I'm Usher Qureshi. Thanks for joining us.